Hey, what's up, Big Earl, Northtown Sound? Ooh, screen capture. Ooh, extreme cold warning in effect. Minus 30 degrees. And ooh, wind chill minus 37. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good day to park my ass inside and shoot a goofy YouTube video. Here, let me show you what it's like outside, okay? Yeah, just waiting for the car to warm up a bit here before I go for groceries. Ooh, pretty sunrise. That's minus 30 for you. You hear every little noise in the city. It's so still. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab some groceries and park my ass. So, Buddy got a hold of me stating he wanted to pick up some pedals from me. Some stuff. Smart boy. But he had to make sure one thing, and that is da-da-da-da! They had to be true bypass. Yeah, that's another thing that kind of needs to be explained to people about why it probably really doesn't matter in the end. I want to look at this from an audiophile point of view. So we're not going to talk about us, including me, the crazy ape-like crude monkey guitar players trying to figure out electronics. We're going to discuss this from a recording studio, a movie sound studio, television sound studio, radio sound studio, from an audiophile point of view. And maybe you'll understand why true bypass really isn't something you need to be concerned with. Shall we? This is a Fender Deluxe Reverb. This is a beautiful sounding amplifier. This is Mick. Mick's got a beautiful sounding P90 pickup to him. If I want to know as accurately as I can what this pickup sounds like through this amplifier, I need to be using the shortest, highest quality cable that I've got. In this case, come here, like that. I have the least amount of electrical resistance from here to the amplifier on the signal path by using the shortest, highest quality cable that I've got. Now, I can't play guitar like this. You might be able to. I sure can't. My gut's too big. It gets in the way. So if I decide to go with a longer cable of decent quality versus the short cable of decent quality, I get a lot more convenience, and I can obviously move around a lot more via the amplifier than I can with this thing. This is a 3.5 meter cord. That's short. I don't even know what that is. This adds extra resistance to the signal, and it changes your sound. If you don't believe me, if you've got a high gain tube amp of some sort and you play single coil pickups, especially S Mahui or TR Mahui pickups, run your conventional cable to your amp under high gain, and then listen to it back when you're doing something like this. You're going to hear a difference. This is going to add a lot more presence and probably a lot more lower mids. Why is that? Some magic in the cable? No, it's resistance. If you're in a recording studio, if you're in a movie studio, a radio station, whatever, they use as little cable as possible to help prevent loss of signal. This isn't rocket science, boys and girls, okay? So now we're going to add into the mix a true bypass pedal, if I can get it in frame. What does true bypass mean? That means from this plug to that plug, there is a piece of wire, so it bypasses the rest of the circuitry. Therefore, it bypasses the internal circuit. Okay. That little piece of wire in there, that's going to add some audio resistance. How much? Tiny, tiny bit. What's your enemy in this? And what's always been the enemy with guitar players on this stuff? Are your plugs. We are dealing with a mechanical connection to transfer audio. If I can get this to stand upright. This and this add additional resistance. So we've just added an additional percentage, don't know what it is, let's say for the sake of argument, 2% resistance to the signal going to our amplifier. So even though this is a true bypass, and even if we're using the highest quality cables that we can afford, and one of the nice things about nowadays, you can get really decent cables at a good price, this is still causing audio resistance, electrical resistance in the signal path. Let's say for the sake of argument, you have a pedal set up. These aren't hooked up, but it just gives you an idea. This is why I love Eno. Lots of sounds in a small area. So we've got a tuner, we got an overdrive, distortion, comp, couple of delays, flanger, chorus. Nothing crazy really in the grand scheme of things if you're playing guitar. These are all true bypass. So, oh my gosh, that obviously means that your sound's going to be perfect going all the way through, right? Well, no, because each and every single one of these has two physical connections, there and there, on all of them, to hook up. Now, in the previous example, like I said, grabbing a number, let's say it's a 2% resistance on your electrical, that puts us at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Your guitar is 18 and your amp is 20% audio resistance through your plugs. And it doesn't matter how good these are, and it doesn't matter how good these are. You're mechanically trying to connect power. Think about your fuse box at your place or your breaker panel at your place. Do you plug that into the wall? No, it's hardwired to your utilities. Why is that? So there's less resistance that's in there, okay? The only way that you're going to get a pure signal path, true bypass, so you can maintain my tone through a bunch of effects like this, is you're going to have to create a secondary path using a switcher where basically you've got one line going into your amp bypassing all your effects, one line going through your effects into your amplifier, and hopefully your amplifier has two channels that are the same so you can roughly get the same sound. That's the only way around it, no matter how true bypass everything is. Now I'm going to say something that's going to piss people off, and I really don't care, okay? Just telling it like it is for you. So you've got a whole bunch of effects that you've got going into your amplifier, some of which are not true bypass, and it affects your tone. Well, what are you going to do about that? You're going to have to find some new true bypass effects pedals and spend $100 on cables or whatever to compensate, right? No. There are these things on your amplifiers. They're called knobs. Okay? They turn. It's kind of strange. So let's say you throw in something and it's not as bright. Your effect makes the signal not as bright as what it was. You just try that. You might even have to do this. I know it sounds like I'm belittling people, but man, the number of players I've met over the decades that they'll set their amp and they might as well epoxy the damn knobs in place because they won't touch it without realizing these are important, and that's what they're there for. They're to help compensate for issues that you're having with my tone. Okay? So if you're running something that's not true bypass, and it's affecting my tone, try that. It ain't rocket science. Jeez. I'm not trying to belittle anyone over this true bypass thing, okay? This is about ignorance. And I mean ignorance as in not understanding everything as opposed to being ignorant about things. So I'm going to give you folks a little hint from the old days. And some of you country guys, you roots guys, this is going to help you out a lot. So this is an Eno chorus, true bypass. And yeah, I use that term. Why? It's a selling point. First rule of retail. I want to make money. So if people want true bypass, I got them. Okay? Back in the day, you had a lot of pedals that weren't true bypass, such as the old Boss series. This is my original CE2's greenback Japanese. Does that mean anything? It just means it's old like me. I bought this brand spanking new for that much, and probably get less than that for it. This thing is filthy. Yuck. Ooh. Anyways, this isn't a true bypass effect. This would be called a buffered effect. Mark my words. That's going to be the new selling point the next couple of years. Buffered. So what does that mean? Your signal hits the input jack, goes across the circuit board with power coming in and out, and it affects your tone. It punches some of the upper mids and it adds presence to the tone. And I'm going to show you a trick that tons of country guys in the 80s and 90s showed me regarding this, utilizing pedals like this. And I'm not going to hook up the full recording rig because you're going to hear it even through the mic on this thing. It's pretty pronounced. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we got the amp fired up. We've got the Marino. We're on the bridge pickup all by itself. Just going straight into the amp there. So, sounds like this. Okay, simple enough. So, I now have the Boss Chorus. I'm going to plug it in. This has a battery in it. It is off, though. I'm going to hook this up. And here we go. So you hear the difference. There's a lot more brightness to it. It's a little tighter on the bottom end. It was a common trick that was done back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s. And what is it that's doing it? A non-true bypass pedal. And it's not on. That's all it is. Simple trick, huh? I'm fighting this head cold and it's starting to win on me here, so sorry I sound like even stupider than normal. So I want to leave with one last parting shot. A great quote from a guy that I really like. Nels Klein, there was a rig rundown that he did, and he was asked the question, oh geez, you know, like all of the cables and all of the effects and everything, doesn't that degrade your sound? And he's like, yeah, of course it degrades my sound. Degradation is my sound. So you know what? Why don't you just rock some pedals, adjust your amp, you know those knobs, twist them a bit, make it sound good, and don't worry about this true bypass nonsense. Like I said, mark my words, 2015 or 2016, you're going to start seeing everything's going to be, oh, buffered, and that's going to be the new hot word. Yeah. Is it a bad thing to be true bypass? Nah, it's just a thing. Don't worry about it. You really don't need to. Then I get the cable out of the way. I gotta go blow my nose again and edit this thing. So anyways, I know it probably made no sense yet again, but whatever. Just trying to kill some time on a cold day. Big old Northtown Sound. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. Thanks to subscribers and yada, yada, yada. You know how all that stuff goes. Probably sick of hearing that one, too, but whatever. Later. Stay warm. Wanted to see how this thing did in the glare. It got up to minus 25, so I think I'm going to swap into the thong here and catch some rays. Seems like something to do today.